The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Sony Open 2020 picks, preview, bets, and yes, the one and done has commenced. We will be giving our awful one and done selections at the end of the show. Quick shout out to my guys Peter Eastman and at Galepo on Twitter, the winners of the Gups Corner one and done giveaway. You have the free entry into the one and done. Best of luck this year. There's almost like 3,000 entries. So if you win, it's going to be worth a pretty penny. I'm not going to lie to you. Maybe I can win this year. Maybe Geoff Fienberg could win. Or Cust. Maybe Cust could win.
Not a chance. I'm already going like nuts.
Because you would have used Justin Thomas last week?
No, not even. Well, Justin or Reed, but just I already have no clue what to do, and I won't follow the strategy that I give.
Well, maybe at the end when we get to the one and done section, we'll go over our strategy for one and done. How about I'm going to write that down right now. Strategy. How to lose at one and done pools with Pat and Geoff. I do want to let everyone know as well, fantasynational.com, big winners over the weekend for the first event of the year. And I'm not going to put this out on Twitter, but I'll tell people who listen to the show, if you want to get 20% off a membership at fantasynational.com, if you just go to fantasynational.com/PME, you get yourself 20% off.
There it is.
Sounds pretty good. We've never done anything like this before.
I was going to say.
I've been pretty strict on no promo codes.
People hit me up. For like, is there a promo code? Is there this? Is there that? Do you have like anything? And
the answer is always
no.
no.
He once told me like, no, that doesn't exist. Doesn't exist, Fienberg.
Times they are a changing, Geoff.
Yeah. I don't know. Listen, the service pays for itself.
Yes.
It pays for itself if this is what you do.
Even if you lose, it's still like the best thing to go to every single week. Like even last night, I was on the live leaderboard. I was researching my stuff. The entire Sony field had been uploaded. I was like, all right, I get a head start on this. This is great.
I feel bad though, because I hope I didn't play a role. I know I played no role because you are your own man. You're not like a mental midget like me and like talking you off of betting JT.
No.
Because
let's save it for a second. 'Cause I have some more winners to give away.
Oh, the winners.
The winners. So if people out there don't know, you should smash the like button for
not the bridesmaids.
Episode. You're cutting me off.
Sorry.
Fucking giveaways.
I'm already a bridesmaid.
Smash the like button for the episode. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. Tell me who your one and done pick is going to be for the Sony Open. If you do that, you're in a draw for 20 DK bucks. You want to get into a draw for 100 DraftKings dollars? Subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. Leave a 5-star review. DraftKings handle. It's something you enjoy about this show. It could be Geoff cutting me off all the time and me getting very upset about it. It could be that easy. But yeah, the ratings and reviews. You've been better, but here are the winners from last week.
Oh, got bad again.
Winners just from last week, all right? $100 winner, Ghost Rider, 90, credited with 100 DK dollars. $20 winners, Vault 520, Uva, Wahooglian, Boston, Botfly. I couldn't imagine typing that in every single time. Rottweiler 34 and our Crib Cage. All the winners of 20 DK dollars. Your fund shall arrive in 0 to 280 days. Big winners, viewers of the show too, Geoff. Did you know that?
I believe it.
Matt Barham took down the Pat Mayo Experience at DraftKings Open, which you can find the link to. I don't have the link yet, but it will appear in the description of the podcast or video if you want to play. 3 max entry, $15 to enter. No rake, so a lot of people get paid out on this one. Very flat payout structure as well, because people like that. So Matt Barham won 2K. J.R. Riddell put a single bullet into the $8, good for $8,600.45. Split first prize. John Stargan, his first ever PGA DraftKings event, put in $150, won $590. Not so bad. Cody K was down to his last $2 on DraftKings. Was going to give it up. Won his first ever GPP in the $1 contest. He split it with a bunch of people, took home $196, so he got some bankroll to play again. And I guess we got to give a special shout out to co-host of the Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast, a man I've once yelled at on this show, ToC, Tag, and Tambo. Tyler won $23K. Easy.
Yeah, well, nice chop.
Easy week for Tambo.
Nice chop. Listen, great. I love hearing a lot of names that we interact with, especially winning the prizes. The giveaways off the top into Gups. I know both those guys, big fans in Interact, and JR for his big win. Awesome.
As someone who's once had a big win, it's very nice, especially when it's like the lower stake, like an $8. Like, I didn't have a single entry. I had 20 lineups in like a $5.
It was
but it's like, whoa.
Yeah, and tell me, like, what was the secret sauce this week? Because there was no secret to JT being great. We all knew, like, this retrain that might be secret clearly was public.
Yeah.
No one was really wrong there, but we all knew that was the guy to be on. Xander, it's like we didn't even have to talk about last week. We're like, the price is a bit short, but this guy is everything you want here. So who ended up being the secret sauce? Neiman?
No, well, yeah, I don't even know if it was Neiman, but the move was actually like I played it more when Rick and I had talked about it. I played either like JT, Reed, someone like Todd or something like that, or Fowler, Reed, and then Casey, that kind of thing, like that balanced approach. The move was actually to jam in JT, Xander, and Reed and just go to the bottom with the way that it shook out.
Yeah,
so you would have like Munoz and Lonto,
but I think
like
a lot
those
of
type of guys,
like me, a lot of those people would have got suckered into those Gary numbers, and in the end, you thought maybe he could rise on Sunday. He did not, but I'm not gonna lie, I took a bit of a beating, put it in the background, and then to find out Daddy's in a playoff. Oh.
And well, you said you didn't do any hedging whatsoever. And like I usually put out if I didn't do a straight hedge. So all I did was I took, because I had the Ricky top 10, that was a big bet for me, and that had already cashed. So I was like, all right, I'm going to win on this tournament, but if I just recoup everything else, because I had Ricky outright, I had Reed outright. So I took some of those Reed winnings when it got head-to-head. I had to wait because I didn't want to go into like a three-way playoff. So Xander,
yeah, of course.
Xander exiting the scene really helped out.
Fucking that chip by JT, god damn it, man. It should have just ended this thing.
So I had Munoz top, like rest
not
of
by
the world.
dropping it. I mean, the fact that he got it that close, it almost thought it was going in.
I thought it was going in too. And then I started getting like panicking every single time that like when he kept shanking the second shot in the playoff, I'd be like, oh, he's 76 yards away. Is he gonna make this? Like that started going through my mind.
I know.
When you have money on the other guy, you think JT's gonna make them all.
And you called it on Twitter too. That iron's about to get dialed the F in, and he stuck it. I didn't hedge because I'm at my January golf exposure.
Yeah,
it's small. If I was at like my full exposure on a bet, I probably would have hedged. But to hedge half of that, I wasn't here for it.
So,
but I lost my shirt in the freaking pigskin, and
I basically just
wanted it all back.
I took out 25% of what I would have won on Reed if he had won and covered my bets. And then just let it ride. So I won the Ricky top 10. That was it.
People like say no hedge, never hedge. So you do what you want to do. What's right for you is what you should do.
And also sometimes you're feeling it too. Like my guy's not going to win.
And then it's like Reed to be there felt like a magical moment. So
it felt like a let it ride. Like I shouldn't have this opportunity anyway.
Then he should have won. And then being a Reed fan, and then it being like this whole like good guy versus bad guy, and like the stance that we take in the ground for the guy himself. It's like I gotta just play this out. And we did, and we lost, and he had his chances, and he didn't.
It's really funny because I'm usually on the other side of this. Like, it's usually my guy in the playoff or trying to chase him down going up against Lucksack putter guy. And Reed was the Lucksack putter guy. I was like, I never have this guy. And then eventually he starts missing putts. Of course.
I almost threw up on the second playoff hole where Reed put it like longer than Justin's, but he comes back, he hits those nails. Oh, God.
It was a great tournament to kick off. That's 2 in a row. 2 tournaments of champions in a row, but the Sunday was awesome.
There's a couple parts of it. I don't want to like try to read too much into it, and I probably won't take anything I'm about to say long term, but I don't know. Should I need to be exposing myself to more like top fives or something? Because there's these big guys, and they just feel like they're going to eat. And this one especially just eats. And now it's like 130 guys. He's the same price as he was versus 30.
Yes. Is the answer.
And so we
that.
spoke about the volume of like, we saw like, oh, maybe Dustin would be the guy with value because 10-1 and he'll be like 10-1.
But he couldn't stop hitting it out of bounds.
And he had his problems. But like Jake, like there, you see like you look at it now. Yes, a win's a win, but he was 5-1 against that field. And now add 90 guys, he's still 5-1.
Now, you subtract a lot of talent from the very top end of this, and like the injection of the other big names is not Dustin Johnson. It's not John Rahm. Xander's not playing. Cantley's not playing.
But you couldn't get me. Yes, of course. And we said it, or at least I wasn't even joking when I said there's like 10 guys, 12 tops who can win last week. here you can get Gomez or Munoz
or
just
Kazaired.
however this thing,
Whatever you Kazaya.
however this plays out. But I don't know. Field looks huge. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have this back.
I like it. I like playing DraftKings and doing all that stuff when I get it. I get it. Just I know that guy's making the cut.
You think?
Like, yeah. Oh,
especially
I'm wrong.
with the new cut rules too.
Yeah, I'm wrong, but
like,
I
the sweat's going to be even better.
I feel like that is like the battle before the battle,
Yes.
and I like that first battle.
Well, one thing I want to change about this show this year when you and I do it is to not talk so much about Doug Gim at 300 to 1. Really just try to focus on the guys who have a chance to win here. Those guys are best served for the DraftKings show, where you might actually have to use them. Are you really going to bet like 300 to 1 bombs here? Maybe there's like a guy or two.
Luke List is 200 to 1.
I saw that. Pass.
You're out?
I don't know if I'm out forever.
You're just
it's
spots.
It's like when I quit smoking.
I've seen you
quit smoking.
Yeah,
I'll quit for 8 months and I'll be
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'll have one. And then one becomes 8 packs. And it's a pack a day again. Then you start like whittling yourself down. You just need to cold turkey Luke List for a while. And he does not fit the narrative that I want this week. But I do want to talk some more about Tournament of Champions. There was a lot going on over the weekend. I really did enjoy. I forget it every year because I forget everything. Like I have a 7-day memory. I can remember things that happened for 7 days, and then that gets completely wiped from my memory as I move on to the next week with football and golf and everything like that. But the Tournament of Champions wrapping up after the Sunday playoff game is just great.
Oh, yeah.
You go from football to golf.
I love the Hawaii golf. I have always imagine the in-person experience. Like if you're lucky enough to be, if I could go to 2 tournaments, any 2 to me, it would, after the Masters, the next 2 up would be the Hero or the Tournament of Champions.
No, see, I completely disagree. I think if I was in those places anyway, what the fuck do I want to watch golf for? I'm going to go hang out on the beach.
I'll be there so long. I don't know. You'll make it good. But I'm just saying with those types of players in that type of environment on like a Thursday when there's probably like 58 people there, that's like what I need.
How does this tournament make any money? Is Sentry what is Sentry? I saw Waialae talk. Waialae was talking about.
I've seen them do that
insurance?
enough. Yeah, they've been sponsoring this thing enough.
No, I know that, but I still don't know what they actually do.
Yeah, insurance.
It was like Valspar for all those years. I finally found out it was fucking paint.
I would want then you're out of the loop.
Cam was the one who told me about that.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, Mayo, was it like Benjamin Moore's?" And it turned out that was true. Remember Dean and DeLuca?
But hold on, Valspar.
Do you know what Dean and DeLuca?
Yeah, it was like
a
high-end grocery, but that I had to look up because they were new when they came in for the year. My point being is Valspar also was new, and that's an unfair one because that tournament, the Tampa one's changed like 8 times.
Yeah, it was like the Transitions Championship for the longest time.
Oh yeah, Trevor Immelman for Transitions. But Valspar, no, they make it quite obvious. The caddies wear those goddamn hats every week. But back to Sentry, I feel like you probably don't know about them unless you have like X amount of money. It's like one of those companies,
it's like
maybe?
It's like a Morgan Stanley type company, but less famous.
Maybe, yeah, I would think.
Okay.
Because like, yeah, how would they just They're at Tournament of Champions, like, I don't know.
If you hit the description of this video or podcast and you're watching this on a Monday or listening to it on like a Tuesday morning or something, the PME Awards are still open for another 12 hours. You and Cust are in a battle for favorite PME guest of the year. There's a lot of them. Like, there's like 5 categories you can vote on. 3 of them are extremely close. And I like that Cam made one appearance as blowing poor Gary and Amini out of the water and Cody.
Cam is powerful. Cam is like, I didn't watch it last night, but it's like that really undeserving. Someone will do like a 7-episode miniseries appearance, but someone make like 1.5 episode guest star, but they're a huge name.
But they win the Golden Globe?
Golden Globe for it.
Yeah, that's Cam.
Yeah.
So you can find the link of that. It's pinned on my Twitter if you just want to go there and go have your vote. But like Raza and Ben are like within like a half percentage point. You and Cust are within 2.
Rick is working hard.
He is, but
Rick is working hard to get the vote out. Ben doesn't say anything.
Ben Raza, aka the Rick Moranis of DFS. People just like Ben Raza. He's a great dude.
Well, bring me home, people, or take me down, but vote, I guess.
Or vote for Paul.
Vote for Paul. Bring Paul up.
Paul got stuck in a rough category.
Go ahead, throw your vote away.
No, I just, yeah, sure. I don't know.
So other things.
It does show that people like,
Crazy.
yeah, I don't know. Sure.
Would you consider yourself a pampered fuck? Because I think Patrick Cantlay might consider you a pampered fuck.
Me, probably.
Maybe. Or anyone who lives in Hawaii. That was my favorite thing of the entire weekend, was miking up Cantlay and him just ragging on the tournament.
Yeah, no, he just got caught on a hot mic. He
Yeah.
wasn't mic'd up.
Oh, he
Or was he? There's no way.
Maybe he wasn't mic'd up,
now?
but they had the mic on him when he was speaking.
Yeah,
and
the
it was
hot
live.
mic. The hot mic was the mic was hot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that he backpedaled on it though.
Should have doubled down. That's what Reed would have done.
Yeah.
That's why we like Patrick Reed. Yeah, I
So,
cheat. So what?
like it.
He got yelled at during the putt too.
And-
Cheater. He should expect that.
That bothered me, but
Why?
on the no, hold on. I want to say on the replay, you saw it was clearly like 3 feet
Yeah,
off the face of the putter.
After he had hit it. Yeah.
He's got to take that. That's his reality now. Wish he won.
Wish he had made the putt.
Okay, but I know the Tournament of Champions is a bad example because he won, so he plays there. But this guy's gonna play.
He's playing this week.
Play. And I don't understand how he's still behind certain people in current Ryder Cup stats. Like, guys don't win. And winning the US Open is like a 2-year exemption into team golf, it seems.
That's why Woodland's on it.
It's more points than God.
Well, he won the U.S. Open. He came second at this tournament.
Yeah, I
last
guess.
year.
And he did, he lost to Tiger recently, like second place, or maybe
Was that
gagged
the
it
Zozo?
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. He's very consistent, but I'm amazed at how high he's remained.
Well, but Reed's so like up and down. Like either he's first or second or like missing the cut. That's
true.
also his
He doesn't-
reality.
Yeah, he doesn't have that. And I did a poll. A lot of people responded. Not quite as popular as your polls, but will Finau
But more popular than Tim's polls per se.
will Finau be eligible for Century next year? And it was 58-42.
Yes or
in
no?
favor of yes. And people just blindly just will say yes. I voted yes.
Well,
on my
people
own poll.
want him to win. Everyone wants Finau to win, but it was kind of like when Vikings fans on the weekend were like holding their breath in that Saints game. You're like, there's no way we can win. Like, we're not going to win. Then they end up winning. It's like, oh.
But Bills fans thought they were going to win.
Yeah,
And
well,
they're equally heartbroken.
That's
They're
the
equally
curse of the
torn.
Bills fan, honestly. But we'll be doing the
Yeah.
NFL show on Wednesday. We'll save it all
Yeah.
for that. Can you believe Justin Thomas hit it out of bounds on 18?
Oh, I wasn't watching.
Oh, I was just kind of like flipping back and forth. I was watching the Golden Globes and I had my computer set up. So I'm like 20 seconds behind on like the internet stream. And like I was on Twitter, just kind of like cruising around. And then all of a sudden, like people are like, oh my God, like what a shot, like in a bad way. And I'm like, what the hell happened here? Like it looks like he's laying up and then boom, out of bounds.
Well, thank
Like,
God
oh my
for
God.
Twitter.
I was like, we got a shot here.
Yeah.
And he still could have won if he had just made that putt.
Yeah, but Xander even had
Xander
2
3-putted.
Yeah.
He had a putt for eagle and made par.
And then he 3-putted the first playoff hole. Or was it was definitely.
Well, he had that
3-putt.
horrendous first putt.
Still.
He got gusted.
Yeah, Reed kind of had that putt too, and he really screwed
They
it.
may have said gusted, but I want to say that they said they got gusted.
Yeah, without a doubt. No, yeah, Twitter's the magic bean, but I'm trying to put Crime Baby to bed, and I don't really care to watch Xander and JT at that point. Long day, and you see it goes out of bounds. And Tim picked JT too.
Yeah, well, it's a very smart thing for like the big week for the Andrew curse after declaring it's a curse free
2020.
2020 is that he picked JT for his one and done a week before the one and done starts.
Yeah.
And didn't bet him. So Tim gets nothing out of it.
That's standard Tim.
So when stuff's on the line, nothing's going to work out in his favor. When nothing's on the line, that's when Tim's at his best. We were ragging him for it this morning. It's pretty funny.
JT's world.
Let's see. Too many aerial shots. Well, real golf is going on. Very scenic. I like it because it's cold here. I like the aerial shots. I like the water shots, the whales, everything going on. It's just too many. Like when there's real golf going on, let's show you some golf shots, all right? There's like 10 guys on the course. Let's see them all hit. I don't need to check in with, like, poor Ricky, because I was sweating his top 10. Nothing from Ricky all day Sunday. He was like having an okay round.
Listen, people like think it was
You see,
Ricky Saturdays again.
did you
like
see,
right
did,
here.
Did you see his shirt on Sunday? It was just a legit Hawaiian shirt.
I got no beef. I got no
Cust
beef.
had to have been. It was untucked, and it wasn't a golf shirt. It was just a Hawaiian shirt.
I know, like, a lot of things trigger people. I get triggered by weird things. That stuff doesn't really bother me. Even like real life, golf, just go comfortable. Stop being so snouty. Preferred lies everywhere.
The Patrick Reed Patrick Reed preference.
Yeah, not for pros, but I don't know. What do I gotta hit like off a branch? Get out of here.
You don't want to break your clubs.
Just like, no, like whatever. I'm beating. I'm not, unless you're like playing for money versus a buddy or something, then yeah, let's go. Play it as it lies.
If you're
like,
just playing.
I'm just playing.
I'm with you.
You're gonna like hit this shot once in 3 years. I'm just trying to hit the shot.
I mean, it's no different than like try hard golf guy is no different than try hard gym guy.
But I do not.
They're the same. They all come from like one's like super broed out and like probably on steroids. The other guy takes himself a bit too serious.
Yeah, I hope I could find an in between because I do like that like sort of country club, tuck in lifestyle. But I'm happy to untuck and let's live free. I am anti like music from your cart though.
Bachelor parties, yes.
I think that's like
Regular.
crossing a line, but I guess if the place allows it, then it's just sort of you like just have to buy into the culture of the
That
establishment.
my preference on the matter is I prefer no music, but like on bachelor party trips when you go golfing, just bring up a huge boombox or whatever.
Like if you go to like
Or Saturday, Sunday when it's sort of like public. But if it was me, like I have a couple of friends who bring it. I try to make them put it like so the other groups can't hear it.
that's like weird.
Like we can hear it, no one else can. That
is
works
100% legitimate. And a lot of these new golf courses you're like crossing roads to get to holes. You could probably pull that off. I don't mean to even get off track because according to the internet, like people even hate that you spend 1 minute on last week.
Why?
I don't know.
We do it every week. There's a show index that if people don't care, then they don't need to fucking listen.
I like doing it.
You don't like the recap?
We're here.
You don't like the show? Not forcing you to listen.
I like shouting out the winners. I like debriefing. I
didn't see this. Was this like one guy who told you he didn't like it? And then now you think all the internet thinks that? Is that what happened here? Are you being Tim?
I have a bit Tim qualities at times, maybe, sure.
Like when people comment on the structure of the show and it's like one person, I just assume that person's like a moron.
Okay, it's not so much this show, it's maybe shows in general. Maybe people like us more, so they're happy to do it, or maybe not. But the goods are here, and you get what you want.
Well, if those are the goods that people don't want to hear, I got more from last week. Let's keep
No,
going.
I didn't mean to
Let's keep it
do
going.
that either. I like doing this, but I would also say you know what you're doing.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to picks, no. When it comes to structuring this show, generally it's pretty good, I think, at least. This is what I was trained to do, so hopefully I do have a grasp of it. The last thing I did want to point out, the weather was the worst on Saturday. At least that's what it seemed to me. It was pretty windy on Sunday as well. But I was really impressed with Neiman in the conditions. And a lot of those stinger shots were, remember when like people freaked out when like Woodland and Tiger started hitting those stingers? Neiman was hitting those. Xander was hitting them too. And you know who sucked in the conditions? Ricky. I think we give Ricky a pass and think that he's good in weather because he wears that fucking snowsuit at the British Open.
Because he puts it on with a fucking smile. I've been saying it for years. He loves it. Other guys, you see the caddy handing them that shit, you see it on their face. It's like death. Ricky's like still smiling, ear to ear, let's go. And yeah, for me, that mentally played like this guy digs it.
Yeah, he's great in the wind. It's like, yeah.
I don't know. Clearly,
but he was all over the place on Saturday.
Lost. He played.
Because he was in the mix, and then he was out of the mix.
I'll admit, Saturday night after football, it was nice. Even though they got off early, I played a Neiman Ricky 2-ball. I was like down 4 out of the gate. Caught a push.
They ended up pushing?
Caught a push at +1.
Nice. I played one like long parlay that was like 60 to 1. Not a win.
I
played one head-to-head on the week. It was Kang over Fratelli round 2.
I'm like so weird. I'll like tail like there, that Kang one. There was like
basically all I did was I went on Fantasy National and sorted by putting. I was like, oh, Kang was excellent ball striking and didn't make a 2-foot putt.
Kang and
Fratelli was the opposite.
No, I don't know. If there are a couple ones that the math says like to get on, I'll ride. But if I also have a guy that I have an outright on in like the final two groups and in it at that moment, I will like I'll say like, okay, let's ride with this guy.
Well, one
today.
that the numbers and the math told me to bet was Herman over Reed. I threw it onto the parlay because I was just juicing up.
No,
the parlay.
Reed shot like 7 under, right?
On Friday, yeah.
That was
he
versus
went
Herman.
super low, but it was against Herman. I was like, one thing you do have to, like, you take the numbers with a grain of salt. They do point you into the right direction. But you also have to know this is also
golf. And Shez
anyway,
Reavie can hole out, and Luxac, was it a Paul Casey?
I won't even say that.
Somebody?
Is that like, especially when you're comparing the quality of player, you still need to factor in the baselines of the talent as well. Like Patrick Reed had a horrible day one and saved himself on the greens. Like his off the tee was horrible, his approach was horrible. And it's not like he turned it around that he was excellent at those things the rest of the weekend, but he wasn't that bad ever again. And Herman like overachieved off the tee and overachieved on approach compared to his normal baseline. Like that was just more likely to regress. So that's the reason I didn't end up playing that one, despite the fact that I think it was like 2-1. Throw it on a parlay, that's fine. Like you're just hoping to get lucky and play some lotto. But it's like a straight bet that has like real money on it. Those aren't the ones that I like to do. Unless like you're sitting there watching it and you can see, oh, like this guy's definitely off. This guy's definitely on. But like, you know, I don't see Jim Herman shoot. I'm just looking at numbers. Because it's impossible to watch him, Jeff. Do you know why? Not on TV.
I'm told they do the best they can, and it's hard.
I agree. Listen, I'm not gonna dispute that it's difficult to do, but figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, it's 20.
How about that?
It's 20 fucking 20. Let's go.
A lot of the pushback that I've always heard from this, from people who actually work within the golf industry, because I brought it up tons of times.
Of course.
Is that something like, I think it's called like NBC Peacock, which is just funny to trigger Tim. But like their online digital product, they want to look as good as TV. Like they don't want to get into a situation where it's Pat on his phone holding it there and it's the stream. Although if they had just...
They don't want to just quickly be like this guy, this hole without having the Chiron ready to show you his score.
And my point to that is no one cares.
No one
the people
cares.
watching
We
this
want it.
don't
Yeah.
care.
We are the...
They just want to see it.
You have horse racing guy at the OTB who's nut low. And then like we're like here.
I don't even know if we're about that.
No,
We're about the same.
If you've been in one of those,
There's one like next door.
it's
I got my son baptized over Christmas time.
no.
And the place that we went to had a horse gambling place. I was like, this is
okay,
great.
fine.
Got to teach him how to bet the ponies.
Now some of these like hot like bars.
This was not a hot bar. This was in like where like my hometown. Where I'm
Okay,
from. I
so
didn't
yeah,
realize it had
so
a
they're
horse racing
like
track in it.
they are. It's some real but yeah, you if it. I put this out there all the time. The greatest deal in the world for me and my brain is what like they charge for the Sunday ticket. Because they have to find a median that will like appease all people to get as many people to buy it as possible.
I feel like they could charge 4 times as much and enough people would buy it that they would make more money.
You don't know. I'm embarrassed to say on recorded video what I would pay to watch a 5-win fucking football team each Sunday. Sunday morning. Like taking a toll. Pay the toll, Willie. And I would... Is that enough for you? But they want like $11. Give them like 10 times that more. Like just to watch.
Like with the partner...
If they took it away from me because it's my crack.
Yeah. So with the partnership with the PGA and DraftKings, my biggest hope would be like...
Charge me!
I don't really know it. Like I don't have any inside info on this because I'm not a DraftKings.
Yeah.
They like as a part of my like content distribution contract with DraftKings, like I'm not allowed, like after all the shit went down, like it's very clearly defined that I can't know anything. So they don't tell me anything. So I don't really care. But I was hoping the thing would be that there would be a DraftKings style launch where through the DraftKings app or through whatever in the combination with the PGA Tours that we just get like a low budget version of this, like one GoPro above the green even on each hole. Just I want to click on hole 13 and see what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I might not even figure out who's on there. Maybe there's ways to like you can go to the DraftKings app like, oh, this guy's on the green on 13. Let me click on it and I can watch it live. And you could probably charge like $50 a week for that and people would buy it.
See, they go to all these places and their shot links are like volunteers.
But I'm not even talking about shot length.
I understand what you're talking
when
about.
I was at the Northern Trust.
I know you're not talking about shot length.
When I was at the Northern Trust, it seemed like they were kind of wading into like dipping their toes into the water. There was a whole bunch of like really skinny poles behind the green was like, you just throw a camera on top of that. Like, not even expensive.
Yeah,
camera.
no, and
Like
they're doing a lot
camera.
of those skinny poles behind the greens for data. My point being is, yeah, they'll just see like an overall like cost. There'll be like 2 guys a hole, 2 GoPros walking. It can't be volunteers because it's way too much to teach someone in like a 3-day window. And it's not like teaching this 75-year-old senior how to do the shot link, pressing the buttons.
Then start with greens. Start with locked off
dead
cameras on greens.
Literally dead cameras. That's what I've been saying. 3 a hole, maybe 1 at the tee box. And I don't even know if it sucks. I can't see where it lands, and I can respect that, but I can know if my guy finishes with one hand is like this.
Yeah.
You know, or something. That I'll know, potentially. Or, you know, I want to see him just pick it up and leave. Yeah, just still cameras, and I'll do my best from there. But as you said, that's like a production thing that.
Oh, people really people underestimate how expensive production is.
Yes,
They really do.
I agree. But we just want the camera that they have sitting at highway exits and entrances for the news, like
the traffic cam.
showing you camera, and they flip through it in 5 seconds, and sometimes there's rain on it. And you're like, I don't know. Okay, I see that road is pretty good. Let's go. I get it. I wish we could find a happy medium to what we would deal with, because we'd put up with so fucking much. We would. We put up with so
People
much.
would be the thing
that
is,
we got to find a medium to what they would accept. We would put up with such low standards, and we got to be able to find somewhere here instead of
that's
there.
The whole issue, is that the production people and the companies that own this product don't want to like put out a crappy product and make themselves look bad, for one thing. And I completely understand that. It's like we tried to do that show over Christmas time, and the audio was so bad I didn't want to put it out because it would have made the show look bad. It was worth canceling the show rather than people have to like try to decipher
they're also
what was
worried
being
about
said.
like
No, but they don't understand. I don't believe, at least, they understand how huge of a market there would be for bottom of the barrel production, but live stuff going on.
Well, here's the other part of it is they go through it costs them so much money to put everything through a filter to almost avoid those Patrick Cantley type incidents too.
Doesn't need to have sound.
No, but I'm saying, right, everything goes through like a filter, like you said, before we see it on TV. They had Chiron, which graphics,
the iris is up on the camera because it might be too dark.
There's like a 3-man, there's like just a step that goes that before we see it, except if it's like the very end of a big tournament. Because they're live and they're giving it, and it's Jim in the booth, and that's important, just like your football game. But yeah, they would be probably deathly afraid of you say no mic, but some level of a hot mic picking up.
That might be a bridge too
that.
far, just because of the not only the language stuff, is just it's exposed
behind the curtain. You can see these guys talking about things. You can hear,
which would be great.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that the tour would allow their players to be exposed to that.
Yeah, you could hear a guy talking about anything, a fight
Cheating
with
on
his
his wife,
just anything. So I don't know. I had fun with this discussion. We've been a half hour. I'm not trying to steer anything.
It's the first major golf, like a real golf tournament with a cut and 144 players.
I'm excited.
Then we should probably get into it. Sony Open. Waialae CC, 7,044 yards, a shade over, one of the shorter courses on tour, par 70. Key stats for the week: strokes gained approach, par 4s gained, eagles gained, a lot of eagles, 4th most eagles of any course on tour, despite only having 2 par 5s, and good drives gained. The driving accuracy percentage at Waialae is one of the lowest on tour. It's just a shade over 51%, with tour average around like 61%. It's not really imperative that you find the short grass. You just want to be able to bomb it out, set up your angles, and have your easy approaches in. Like around the green, if you're going to do well at this tournament, makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. You need to be hitting, the field hits almost 70% greens in regulation. The winner's going to hit like 90. So if you're relying on your short game, you ain't winning.
You've got to get incredibly unlucky off the tee to find something that you can't put to the green.
Yes. Agreed. And even like getting there in 2 on the 2 par 5s, that should be fine.
Like there's nothing that, unless you literally go OB. I don't even think they have those like cornfields or whatever, like we saw in the last week. Like just some real high grass.
Yeah, so Dustin should have played this one.
Every time
guy was harvesting in the first round.
Every time he got going. Give it all away.
Bermuda Greens, 32 of 49 courses in difficulty last season. The cut is top 65 in ties, 144 players in the field. And the past 5 winners of this event, Jeff, Matt Kuchar last year, hit it. 22, minus 22. Patton Kizzire, minus 17. Justin Thomas, course record.
First win.
No, second one, because he won the third win. He won the CIMB.
North American win.
Yeah, he won the CIMB. Then he won it again the next year. And then he won the Tournament of Champions. And then he won in Hawaii. Because remember, for a while, he had the no continental U.S. wins.
Yes.
He had the 2 in Hawaii and the 2 in Malaysia.
And old JT always had, at least I kind of put this thing on him, that he would only win like scoring fests.
And no cut events. Almost like Xander. Xander wins a lot of no cut events.
But apparently, I guess he tied Spieth in career wins.
I thought he passed him by 1.
Oh, maybe then passed him. Got down 8-1, but he still trails 3-1. And where it counts.
Where it really counts. So he set the course record after an opening 59 3 years ago at minus 27. Fabian Gomez beat Sneds in the playoff, minus 20. Jimmy Waka, minus 23. And Walker won the year before that.
Good old days. Good old days of Walker before February.
Yeah, Walker on the West Coast. Yeah. Hawaii in the West Coast, and Texas. Basically Walker before the Masters.
Yeah.
You just start
Good old days.
That was a nice run for him. He's like top 10 guy in the world. So the big thing this week, and the narrative that you're going to hear most, is that you want to bet someone who played last week. The past 6 winners have all played the week before Tournament of Champions. I know Jeff Ulrich, who's going to be on the show tomorrow to break down the DraftKings side of this, even threw out that all the past 6 guys
X in the Tournament of Champions.
They finished better than top 20 in the Tournament of Champions, and they all finished the year inside the top 50 in strokes gained putting. If you really want to narrow it down, I that's a bit much for me, but I like to see these trends. Hey, the Hero one happened again this week at Tournament of Champions. The 3 guys who finished top 5 who played in the Tournament of Champions all came inside the top 10. So it was Rahm, Thomas, and Reed. Pretty good. So,
I do think that's important. And a lot of my early moves were on guys that played last week. I'm not going to lie, but also I felt those were the guys who were most likely to lose their numbers.
And that
I couldn't lollygag on. So those were guys that I did play. So I'm not knocking the theory, but this is the freaking Sony Open. And there is such a bag of mush here that, if that trend got canned, wouldn't blink for a second.
No, I'm probably not going to bet anyone that didn't play last week, though.
Listen, that probably makes a lot of sense.
So,
and they're giving you some pretty fair shots.
Yeah, there's some guys on this list that aren't too bad, and it helps you differentiate between guys that are basically even. Realistically, what's the difference between Russell Knox, Brian Stewart, and Corey Connors? Nothing. But guy played.
Corey played.
Yeah, Corey played. He had a top 5 here.
I got that Canada flag in the ground. Let's go.
So odds for the week, also worth noting, Kizzire and Kuchar were the winners the past 2 years, and they both won the OHL the season before in November. So direct correlation to the Mayakoba. Also a correlation to other courses like the Wyndham, the Heritage, and PGA National for the Honda Classic are all ones to kind of look out for, where you see a lot of similar leaderboards, all kind of short courses. PGA National is obviously not a birdie fest, neither is the Heritage, but you see very similar shots off the tee, very similar approaches. Just you want guys who score a bit more at this course than at those ones. Justin Thomas, he was 5.5 to 1 last week or 5 to 1?
You probably could have shopped a 5.5.
Well, he's 5.5 to 1 this week against a field that includes more than 100 people in it. So
he's won 3 of his last 7 tees in the ground.
Thomas 5.5 to 1, Webb 11, Reed 12, Hideki 16, Morikawa down from 20 to 18, Im 20, Cooch the defending champ 22. That's your entire list of guys 30 to 1 and below. The only one that piques my interest, obviously Justin Thomas piques my interest. I don't want to say that I'm out on Justin Thomas, but if I didn't bet him at 5 to 1 last week, find myself hard-pressed to bet him at 5.5 to 1 this week against a much larger field. Although the quality, like I said, you replace Dustin Johnson and Cantlay with Webb Simpson and Hideki and Mark Leishman, that kind of thing, it gets a little bit different. Sung Jae you throw into the mix. But I like Morikawa a lot here. He was 3rd in strokes gained ball striking last week, the first time he'd ever played at the Tournament of Champions, which really doesn't go all that well. And he wasn't all that great in round one. He really rallied back to get himself into that position. It's been since Russell Henley won in 2014 here. That was the last time someone hadn't played the week before and won. It was also the last time a first-time player at the course had won. And before that, it was 1970 that had happened. So this is Morikawa's first time at the course, but I just think he's too good. He does everything that you would want from a player to do well here. Like, he's a good driver of the ball, but his game is approaches and hitting a ton of greens of regulation. Normally, he's a pretty good putter. He putted atrociously last week, but got better as the week went along. That's always encouraging to see. So I haven't got in on him yet. I haven't laid down the money. I already missed my 20, and it's down to 18, but I think that might be the only shot that I take, if I do, from the top of the card. Of course, I always release my cheat sheet on Wednesdays, so you can see if Morikawa makes it or not. But I'm not officially in yet. I got a heavy lean towards him, Geoff.
I got nothing under here. I'm just not willing to bite the bullet. It pains me. I can't bet Patrick Reed. I'll have to just accept, if he wins a trophy, that I was right in a prediction that he's going to win out of the gate, out of the controversy. He's going to win because he wins. But I can't bet him at 12-1 in this field. I just can't. Especially when so many parts of his game were off last week.
He was not good last week.
And there's such a variable for so many guys to just get a hot flat stick and just flirt with 15. Like, we're on 59 watch here. It's the type of place it is.
Yes. So Patrick Reed last week gained 0.3 of a stroke off the tee, lost a stroke and a half on approach, gained 3 strokes around the green, and gained over 9 strokes putting. That's hard to, like, the 9.3 strokes gained putting, like, you just turn that into 5 and he's in like 12th place.
I know, but it's also, to be fair, it's also part of the reason. I mean, I bet him because I sort of put it out there that he's going to win in some sort of like Magic Bean universe. You actually had, based with hard data, we're like, no, he's a great pick there because he's capable of those sorts of things. And he just keeps the ball in play and around the greens.
And he is really good around the greens. That's not new.
You bet him last week not because so much. I mean,
it was the form and the number for me.
Yeah, for me, it was the controversy, and I said it. And for you, it was like what he'll need to do to win here and his ceiling at that. And he above the ceiling, but he ceiling golfed what you said was the reason you're betting him here.
I'm not going to bet him I bet him 14-1 last week.
Agreed.
I'm not betting him 12-1.
I said, I can't even do it. I'll just have to love the Ryder Cup point cash if he does win this week. I agree with everything you said about Morikawa. I don't know, man. I'd rather bet guys that I do believe win equity is equal.
Okay.
Bigger numbers. But I love the guy. I got him in our pool. I'm looking forward to big things. But I think out of the gate, we do see that the books, he's obviously a popular click. Him and Victor will be more popular. We talked about it last week, and we'll find ways to talk about it again, I'm sure.
I find it somewhat surprising that Morikawa, especially after last week.
Because he didn't top every tournament that everyone watches?
Yeah, but like I find it surprising that Neiman has doubled the odds. I think that Morikawa is a better player than Neiman is. I do, and clearly the books do, and clearly people who bet on this do. But I just find it surprising that Morikawa is 18-1 and Joaquin Neiman is 35-1. I just would have figured Neiman would have been like 25 or 20-1. Or in the same range. Like, if you were going to bet Neiman and you're going to bet him at 35, I bet you would have bet him at 20.
I bet Neiman, and I did bet him first out of the gate when I saw the board because I liked what he saw, and he checked the box of last week. And I don't know. We've acknowledged it, and I'll say it again. Like, Wolf and Neiman are not going to get the respect. And a lot of guys who are a tier under them are like almost forgotten about now. In terms of
like the Gim Reaper?
Sure. I'm not even talking about Gim, but it's almost like there's such a gap in where those guys are talent-wise that I don't even, like as Tim would say,
gap?
Definitive
gaps, yeah.
Like, there was a moment in time, Pat, where like Aaron Wise was the cool young player.
Yeah, he's gone now.
But these guys are so much cooler, and they're here, and they're not going anywhere.
Who did this kick off with? Rahm or Bryson? I feel like it was one of the two. I forget who came first. But they both just came on and were good immediately.
The thing about, yeah.
Because we saw Bryson at the Masters. and he had played really well. And then he turned pro and just started like reeling off top 10s. Rahm we caught a few times. We saw him in Phoenix a few times as like an AM. Then he showed up to the U.S. Open when Dustin won at Oakmont. And he played really well that week. And then all of a sudden it was game on.
Well, it was sort of that week because you're like, holy shit, this guy has the exact same game as Dustin, but he's like 21 and his chipping and putting is so much more polished than Dustin. Like Dustin didn't figure that out till...
Dustin sculled like 3 chips. Like they didn't show much of Dustin, and he somehow ended up in like 5th or something like that. But like he was brutal around the greens.
But he's going to have his like heater pocket where he's just unconscious.
Is Dustin someone you bet as a repeater even at low odds? Like if he wins one week, just bet him again?
Seems like it. Seems like it. I had something to say about something in this range.
Well, here are the guys. So at 35-1, Answer, Neiman, Cam Smith, Noren, Connors, Howe, Leishman at 40, Sned at 45. He's lost in the playoff here before. 50, you got Kisner, Knox, Todd. 55, Poston, Putnam, Stewart, Shez. And at 60, you got Brian Harmon. Then you're on to your Fratellis and Munoz and Grios. Papashugo, he's playing. Number 30 ranked player in the world.
This is where my money is.
Me too.
And I think if you're new, this is a common theme. This will be where I'm not afraid if you're new. I'm not afraid to play the top. I'm not afraid to bet it like a football game. And I kind of was saying earlier that I was worried that I did that to you last week. You're like, I'd like to bet JT. And I looked at you like, you're betting that like a football game? Like, what's the point?
Well, the decision that it came down to me last week is I would either bet Justin Thomas or I would bet Fowler and Reed. Like the same allocation of money. Like in order to achieve what I wanted to achieve from a golf win, I would have had to take in the money I spent on Reed and Fowler and bet it just on Justin Thomas to get a similar payout. I decided to take the 2 guys.
Yep.
And I almost got it. It looks stupid in retrospect, but here we are.
I like this range a lot. I've made my bets in this range, and there's guys in this range that I'm looking to bet who I haven't yet.
Okay, who have you bet so far in this range?
Joakim Neiman and Kevin Kisner.
I have also bet Kevin Kisner. He opened at 66-1. I missed it. I got him at 55. He's down to 50.
Yeah.
And I have that with the each way to the top 5. So
I like it.
I have a feeling he's going to be a very popular.
I do not understand how his odds are what they are. Doesn't really make sense to me. Just seems like a good number. Even the 50. I mean, to have caught that 66 that a book had out there really quick.
Bet on the greens last week, ended up T14 at the Tournament of Champions, has a good course history here. Gained a little bit off the tee, gained a little bit on approach, really good around the greens. So that's not really going to make that big of a difference, but this is a course that should be somewhat suited to his skill set. I mentioned like Heritage and Wyndham in those places. Like it's a Kevin Kisner type course.
Oh.
He's sort of like the poor man's Matt Kuchar, but actually a lot closer.
I have another bet. I have a 50 on Connors.
I have a 50 on Connors as well.
Yeah. I don't know, playing to last week, I could see myself losing a lot of money on Corey Connors this year. Hopefully I don't.
Here's who, do you want to know who Corey Connors is? And there's a reason that we're going to lose a lot of money on him?
Well, like,
because we lose money on this other guy too.
I hope you say Adam Scott, not Luke Liss.
No, he's the Canadian Byung-Hun An. That's who he is.
Yeah.
If you put their numbers side by side, they're indistinguishable. They both can't putt. And they're great team. Ann is good. The only difference is Ann has touch around the greens. Corey Connors does not. That's what makes this actually a really good course for him. Is that, again, if he's relying on his around the green game, he's toast
if you're saving
anyway.
par, bye.
Just go and do your thing. Like even last week, like Morikawa, gained off the tee. Right? No, he actually lost off the tee last week. Gained a bunch through approach. It was the first time since the Open Championship that Connors lost off the tee in an event. I feel like just shake off some rust. But I like that he played last week.
Yeah, he played.
Just don't lose 8 strokes putting.
50-1.
Lose 0.1 strokes putting and you can win.
Yeah, so my bet's there, the narrative.
I got another guy too. I told you on last week's show. Said, remind me to bet this guy, whether he plays good or whether he plays poorly. I want to bet this player because he matched up really well. He won the Wyndham Championship, played really well at Heritage, did really well at Rocket Mortgage, another really short course, played well at PGA Nationals T20 this event last year, and almost sort of like the anti-Corey Connors, where with Ulrich's stat where the player will finish inside the top 50 in putting. Corey Connors not going to, like, it would take a really big turnaround on the green for Connors to finish top 50 in putting. 55-1 with the each way. Me and my man, JT Poston.
Yeah.
I said I'd be in, and I'm in.
There's a few guys in this range that I'm looking at. Abraham Answer, 40-1.
Didn't play last week. Pass. I swear to God, I'm actually using this as a way to cross these guys off. Like Neiman is the one that has the most interest to me at 30.
I'm just going to say it because I want to say it. You're going to pass. Andrew Putnam at 55-1. I don't mind.
Why wouldn't you pick Reevey at 55-1 instead, who kills this tournament and played last week?
All very good points. That's why I like to sit. That's why there's bullets in the chamber before I get to the table with you.
So Shez, I have a star next to. I have not bet. The only 3 bets that I actually have in right now are Connors, Poston, and Kisner. Those 3. And when I update my cheat sheet on Wednesday, maybe I'll have added more. Maybe that'll be it. I don't know. But those are the 3 for right now.
And for me, it's Neiman, Connors, and Kisner.
Get it on Poston. The Postman.
I could. That won't be. You won't have to twist my arm too hard there, Pat.
Kazire, OHL, then wins this.
I don't care.
Kucher wins OHL, wins this. Brendan Todd, best player on the planet, wins OHL. 50-1 this week.
So tempting. I'm not even kidding. Just an auto fire on the Todd father.
It's not like he's 15-1. He's 50-1.
50-1.
Even if you did the $10 peace of mind bet on it and you got $500 back, you wouldn't be hating that.
Okay.
I feel like that's a top 10 play if you're going to do it.
I'm not there, but I'll really hate myself on Sunday if he does it. Because everything points to like it's a great number on a very winnable track for him. Like it sets up so well.
How was he last week?
And he's the type of guy, Pat, where
Todd was bad last week.
That's the concern.
But Kucher was bad at this tournament last year too, and then shows up to Sony, he's fine. Like some guys, if they're not in it, they just like 3 guys or 2 guys shot 80 on Sunday. They're just like, fuck this. We're done.
Brendan Todd better have had the most merry fucking Christmas around. So if he just went to cash an auto tourney paycheck at a great event to be eligible for, all the power to him. But you are right in that with Todd, you almost can't look at the long range or last year because you almost have to write it all off and just look at his comparable type guys. And a guy like Chev, you says, is 5 stars for a place like this. Guy like Kisner's game should work here. Like Brendan Todd does all those things of players.
Shez the last 3 years of this tournament, T3, T18, T8. The other guy who's like awesome at this tournament every year is Brian Stewart. This is like the Brian Stewart Open. I'm not going to bet him at 55. If he was like $150, I would. Like he is now being priced that he is good at this tournament.
I have a question about a player. It makes 0 sense to me, and I'm a fan. It's hard for me to say a bad word.
Is it Lonto or Munoz?
No, we're going lower. I do not, for the life of me, get why Alex Noren is 40-1.
Because he used to be good.
But
why is Cam Smith 40-1?
Stop for a second. I just got to stay on this Noren thing. You say he used to be good. When he still used to be good, there were insane numbers out there for Noren in those like swing season events that he's teeing it up everywhere to keep his tour status. He's a test case for why I drafted Fitzpatrick and Wallace, because they don't want to, what happened to Noren, God forbid they don't want to happen to them. They're going to play a ton this year once we get back to mainland USA. But Noren had huge numbers in a lot of events. I don't know. He didn't really show anything anywhere. And now he comes back and he's shorter than all these guys who we've mentioned that have like won in the last year. A Kisner, a Poston, a Shez. It's so weird to me. So weird. Same number as Connors. And at least Cam Smith's been on TV and played head-to-head golfers like Ricky Fowler 2 weeks ago, and people saw him do something. Or he like tied Justin Thomas on TV.
That won us a lot of money. Cam Smith's comeback against JT got Abraham Answer clinched as the co-outright winner.
So that's all I can say. I don't even think they're on the same planet as perception-wise right now. It's been a long time since Noren's done anything. I don't know. That number's so weird to me.
I don't remember what his odds were at he played in Bermuda, like the one that Todd initially.
Oh, he
won.
might have been like 20.
I think he was like around this number.
No, but the numbers even lower. But the numbers when there was any semblance of tour guys.
What's that word again?
semblance.
Sapwins?
His number was insane. It was almost like whatever. I don't understand that number. It shouldn't be the same as Mark Leishman. Like, not in a million fucking years. I know Leishman's a form guy and it's like gone, but that's crazy.
You gotta
stuff.
watch out for skinny Leishman. You gotta get like to the ice cream store, get that weight back on.
And he loves Snedeker, just didn't play last week.
No, didn't play last. So looking more at the guys that played last week, I mentioned Munoz. Munoz is somewhat intriguing, but someone who played really well with their irons last week. Neutral off the tee, poor putting, really good with the irons. Lonto's 100-1. Lonto's good. Like he won earlier in the swing season and ran off like 5 consecutive top 20s. And you're getting him at 100-1? Maybe you don't bet him outright to win, but throw a top 20 on that, and all of a sudden you're looking at like a nice 4 or 5-1.
And you like that more than, say, Kevin Knott, same number?
No, I don't know what to do with Kevin Knott because he was such a disaster. Like, he was a legit disaster last week. He lost 7 strokes driving the ball on a place where you can't miss fairways. And he hit it OB like 3 times. I have more interest in McDowell at 125-1. So at least his irons were smoking, and he putted poorly. McDowell so rarely putts poorly. But again, I could see myself betting Alonto or maybe doing a top 20 on him and McDowell. But like now we're into like DraftKings plays territories. Like, save it for DraftKings, Pat. Don't waste your money on these guys who never win.
I'm trying to remember who the player is, but they've replaced the Bryson and his mom doing Hawaii commercials with a new guy. It used to be like Kuchar and the family, and it was like Bryson and his mom. It was tourism Hawaii commercials. Well, they get me every time.
Other guys to consider from down here. I mentioned McDowell at 125. Duncan played last week and played pretty well. He's $125.
Keith Killa?
Man, Keith, a lot of like his stats are so skewed by what happened in the final round. What are his odds anyway?
150.
I mean, it's
played last week.
It's on Bermuda. He won at Honda last year.
Dagger punched Ricky and Brooks playoff.
I want to see, one of the nice things I like about Fantasy Nationals is that you can look round by round to see how guys have played. So I want to see like how skewed his stats are. Although he had a hole out eagle in the second round, so that would have skewed his strokes gained approach. Yeah, second round 1.3 strokes gained on approach. Yeah, irons really poor the entire week. Lost in 3 of the 4 rounds. Drove the ball well the final 2 days, which I guess is nice. Really bad on the par 4s. Really bad on the greens. Like really, really bad on the greens 2 of the days. I can see it, but that's probably not gonna be for me. The other one from down there is like Long is down there. Just talking about guys who play. Lashley, Long, Sung Kang is 160. I think he is the lowest of the guys who won. Jimmy Walker's 200-1. It's before the Masters.
All right.
Man, he's been bad. Like really, really bad.
I just see a lot of your like first round leader guys.
Yeah. Robbie Shelton's down here.
Shelton, Scott Brown.
My guy, Mark Hubba Hubbard. He's 225.
That's where we are. That's the names I'm seeing. You're Christoph Ventura.
So if I just sort by ratings. So I rated my custom stat model. If we just look at my rank versus odds, we have Kyle Stanley, who's played really well at this tournament over the years. I believe he's made 5 consecutive cuts. He ranks out 10th in my modeling over the past 50 rounds. He's 125-1. Scott Harrington is 12th in the modeling. He only has 32 rounds of data to go on because he's brand new to the tour, but he's 275-1. Like now, if we're talking like top 20, top 10, that's a guy I could potentially get behind. Harrington's been like, all right. He's came through for us once already this year. I think it was in Houston. Yeah, he came second in Houston. So 23rd, second. He's made every cut so far this year. That's not bad. And like when the ball striking gets going, it gets really good. So Harrington as like a complete bomb. Again, probably a better top 20-ish play. But Doc Redman's another one. He's 225-1, and the model still likes Nate Lashley at 150. And he played last week.
Models love Doc.
I think it's because he can't putt. Let's see. Good drive percentage past 50 rounds in this field. 3rd for Doc Redman, 2nd off the tee, and 10th in par 4 scoring from 400 to 450 yards. Those are the holes where, besides the par 5s, where you want to be making your birdies this week.
This sneaky little like guy hits it a ton. This Neesmith, 250.
Oh, inventor of basketball, James Naismith.
No, Matthew Naismith.
I believe it's Neese, like the knights who say Neesmith.
Neesmith.
He's going to be a staple for first round leaderish. Did we completely? I see Sungjae's name pop up here on a bunch of things. Did we just overlook him? Like he's going to grind what, a T9, depending on how well he putts this week.
Listen, if it works, it works. I don't feel like betting it. I'm not. I don't know. A misses win. His number's like pretty low. He's got like the hot Finau numbers now.
He does.
And not to say like he won't be great and win like 2 times this year. I won't bat an eye to it. But
when we did our major preview show, we got on for PGA Championship at 125-1. Like big numbers will exist for Sungjae and feel like he'll be undervalued in fields that have like if he had played last week, he would have been behind Morikawa. He would have been like 35-1 last week.
Pardon my total ignorance on the issue. Would he have been in like the end of season WGCs? Is he going to be in like something out of the gate here? Was he eligible?
Yeah, he finished top 50 in the world.
Yeah, so he was in the one in China?
I believe it's pronounced China, but I believe so.
Yeah, I'll have no problem swinging.
He was 11th at the WGC.
Give me full field Sungjae. Like full big boy pant field Sungjae.
He reminds me of when Reed first came onto the scene. Remember he ended up winning at Doral?
Yeah.
And then proclaimed himself a top
five
player
in the world.
I can see Sungjae winning one of those events.
Let's go.
He's that good.
Yeah, I could see him winning. Maybe you even called it like Torrey Pines.
Yeah. Somewhere good. Because you think of him as a shorter hitter, but he plays his long iron so well. And his putter gets en fuego. But I don't know if it's going to be just him not playing last week. Kind of keeps him out of the running for me.
I would... I mean, he's the same numbers. You'd rather Morikawa.
I'd rather play Morikawa this week, yes. Mark Hubbard, 23rd in the Hubba Hubbard. 225-1 in the other one.
KH Lee?
No. You ready for this? This is going to be first round leader written all over it. Ranks 28th over the past 50 rounds.
I know who.
He's 300-1. I just said I wasn't going to talk about these guys, and here we are. Is this another year where I have to bet stupid Andrew Landry?
Luke List, 200-1, Pat.
I know. I saw Luke List. Trying to talk myself out of Luke List. Save me before I put money on these.
Bud Cauley at 140, actually. I don't hate.
You're doing this again?
No. I don't know what this is. But
you like Bud Cauley? Oh. I'm shocked Bo Hostler's not in this field. So you can be like, oh my God, Bo Hostler's only 10,000-1? You should be the favorite.
Stop! Something happened to him when Poulter fucking took his soul, man.
He Shang Tsung'd him?
Something happened. Speaking of which, Spieth got a cold and he withdrew?
Yeah. I mean, I would want to go. If I had a cold.
But it kind of speaks to the point that a lot of us have been making. Spieth's gonna, I make the joke with Patrick Reed just looking to piss people off, make the Ryder Cup play everywhere. Spieth's looking to just play at he has the intention of playing everywhere.
Yeah, if you actually do have the flu, you don't want to travel, you don't want to get sick. Save yourself. Yeah. When I show up, I want to play well.
I don't disagree with any of it.
We'll see him at Torrey. That's when he's playing.
I'm also just saying him playing here is like a sign that, or his commitment.
I believe he usually plays here.
He also is usually at the Tournament of Champions, Pat.
This is true. But he might have some sort of commitment with Sony that he does, because him and JT tend to play this every year.
It is weird. Who's the biggest?
Hideki plays every year.
Yeah, but Hideki's on the first flight from Asia. This is the stopover.
Webb plays every year, whether he's made the Tournament of Champions or not. Kuchar tends to play every year regardless. Woodland used to play until he started making the Tournament of Champions. Now he's enough of this.
So Woodland also, I think, played the Zozo, then didn't play, he was one of those guys that didn't play the WGC because the Zozo was just handing out so much paper. Yeah. Well, Kuchar, again, he's got all those free Hawaiian credits probably. He didn't take, worked a good deal for those Hawaiian tourism commercials. Probably he's got a timeshare out the ass over there.
Free stays for life for Matt Kuchar and the fam?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else there is to say.
Well, let's get into the quick picks for the Sony Open. For me, the guys I'm officially in on, all with each ways to the top 5, which means, if people are new, 1 bet for the outright win, and then 1 bet for 1/4 the odds on the top 5. Not every book has this, but a lot of books do. So, Corey Connors, 50-1. JT Poston, 55-1. Kevin Kisner, 55-1 for me. 2 of those numbers are gone. Connors is down to 40. Kisner's down to 50. I would still play both of them at those numbers. Poston is still 55. And I believe I have talked myself into Lonto Griffin. So the moment that we finish this, I am going to go bet Lonto Griffin at 100-1 as well. The guys that I'm looking at, Neiman, Morikawa for sure, are the 2 that really pique my interest here. But I don't know if I want to go that high. I'm probably more likely to go Neiman because it's double the odds. Yourself.
Bets I have made: Neiman, Connors, Kisner. I agree. I got the 50, but I probably would have played Connors at this 40. I probably would have made that bet. Guys I'm looking at, Answer and Putnam. They didn't play last week. I'm gonna look.
Answer was, just remember, although Answer won us a lot of money at the President's Cup, he was an absolute luck sack with his putter. He made every putt all week until he played Tiger.
I think it's a very fair number.
And when you look at the influence of strokes gained at this tournament over the years, not to say that Answer can't do that. He's a fine player. But this is a tournament where your irons need to be better than your driving historically. And Answer's driving is generally way superior to his irons.
All right. Again, Neiman, Connors, Kisner, Answer, Poston, Putnam are 3 that those last 3 I haven't bet.
If I was going to go bomb shopping, because, I'm a sucker like that, the guys I would be looking at would be Harrington 275, Redmond 225, and Landry 300. I might throw like $5 each on them with the each way and just probably bet them top 20s. But again, my cheat sheet will be out on my Facebook page, facebook.com/thepme on Wednesday. And you can see if I have added these guys to the list or not. They'll definitely be on the first round leader card, Jeff.
Oh, I look forward to that.
I get screwed at this tournament in the first round every single year. The worst one was Chris Kirk is going to be like nice odds for first round leader because he either like comes inside the top 10 or misses the cut at this event. But I had him as first round leader 2 years ago, and I had Zach Johnson outright to win. And Kirk ran away with it. He was like 7 under in the morning. I was like, all right, let's cash like 125-1 to kick off the first full field event of the year. Then Zach Johnson storms him, finishes at -8, and then finishes at -8 for the tournament and loses by like 13 shots. Like, if you're going to cost me my first round leader and I have money on you, continue to play well. Like, come on, man. Come on, ZJ.
Can I get one more good minute out of you?
Let's do it.
Pretend the trend didn't exist for a minute, a moment. I'm going to actually steal 2 good minutes because we have information. Keegan, guys like that. Like, if the trend didn't exist and we weren't beholden to these guys like playing a week ago. Grillo would have more
at
of my 70-1. If this trend didn't exist,
Grillo would have more of my. I feel like you should just not bet Grillo.
Then
you're doing a lot better with yourself.
You know what? I know the wormhole. Yeah.
Let's see. Keegan he missed the cut at Mayakoba, 24th at the WGC, 13th at the Zozo. You just have to pick the right Keegan week. I like him at harder places, to tell you the truth, than Birdie Fests.
And I forget whether we made this information public, but we have Cust's pick.
We'll do that during the one and dones.
All right.
That's when we do it. You forget how the structure of the show works.
I thought we were wrapping up, and I totally forgot we haven't done one and done yet.
I even wrote down, talk about one and done strategy when we get to the one and done section.
I don't know.
So guess what it's time
do.
for? One and done picks of the week for the 2020 Sony Open. We do have information. Cust has selected for the Sony Open
Hideki Matsuyama.
Did not play last week, so maybe Cust is on to something here. Maybe the move is to fade all the guys that played last week, go on to the guys who didn't. Hideki's a fine choice.
I don't think Cust has a clue about the trend, and I don't think he cares.
So once again, the past 6 winners have all played the week before at the Tournament of Champions. Hideki did not do that. Correlation courses, the OHL, PGA National, RBC Heritage, and the Wyndham is what I'm going to be looking at. I have it narrowed down to Colin Morikawa, Corey Connors, and Kevin Kisner as my 3 choices of what I want to do here. But I'll let you pick first.
Here's my problem. I'm not going to burn. I'm adamant about just do not hold any bullets. You keep firing. We used to talk about who would the forgotten guy be, and might that be like a Matsuyama? Because
I would say it's probably
trend,
in this. It's probably
Webb?
It's probably Hideki or Webb,
because the trend and people who are in the know will not want to play someone who didn't play last week, but there'll be guys that.
And listen, it's Webb, it's a par 70, it's a short par 70, places where he excels, and it's on Bermuda. That's usually start cashing checks. Yep. But for ages, everyone just used to use Charles Howell III at this tournament. I think he's like the all-time money winner of this event. He's never finished better than like 6th, but he comes inside the top 10 every single year.
Or I feel you try to get fancy, and like I'll pick Russell Henley on the bad years here plenty of times before.
You could use Kuchar here because no one's going to use him.
I thought about Neiman, but I feel like there'll just be spots where he is just a leading man in a shitty field. Or not a leading man, but like 18-1. And you know what event. Like we'll be there. We'll be there down the road.
So I'm going to take Colin Morikawa as my one and done this week. Who are you going to take?
I am going to take...
Per the rules of this, we can't take the same people. But if we enter in the Gups corner one and done, we could use the same people.
Yes.
For the purposes of this show, and me, you, and Cust. Cust is in this year. The $100 wager between the three of us.
Yes. But am I beholden to what I say here has to be my one entry in Gup?
No.
Because we do this thing out of the gate.
Yeah, we do this on a
Monday.
Monday.
Lot of percolating.
Absolutely. And then at some point of the year, you might want to go, contrarian strategy because you're behind. We'll get to that in a second.
But I'll get it to my fact. I'm here. It's Monday.
We're playing
out of the chute.
For the purposes of this show, we're playing
Matt Kuchar.
I like that pick.
Matt Kuchar.
So Morikawa for me, Kuchar for you, Hideki for Cust.
He's a big gun, but I won't feel like I'm going to miss him. Yeah.
Let's talk about strategy for the one and done. So people are unfamiliar with how one and done works. The one that we're playing in this year goes from the Sony Open through whatever tournament is before the Tour Championship. So I think it's 38 events, 37 events. We're doing the crossover events too this year, I think. So we'll get Puerto Rico Open and those weird ones that Brennan Todd or Steve Marino will. Tony Finau, winner of crossover events.
Maybe Jordan Spieth will be in those by the end of the year.
Either way, there's how popular, as an example, at the Sony, do you think that Justin Thomas is going to be? He'll be the highest owned guy.
We'll say there's 3,000 people in the pool for easy math's sake. I'm going to say we're at like 1,300. 1,100.
Do you think it's wise to use him here, considering he's a favorite by more than a half of the next closest guy?
If he wins, nothing else matters.
So do you have the conviction that he's going to win or not? I guess it really comes down to. I could see I believe I used Justin Thomas here last year. He didn't win. And I bet the guy who did win, I should just use Kuchar.
I have no problem with it. I am in favor of saying you should just fire your bullets. I'm going to be the loser that tries to play it like a little tighter. But I think you should fire. I don't think you're going to miss anybody. There's always going to be guys whose names you'll want to pick. I truly believe that.
So I think that the best move you can probably do in this is don't go completely off the board. Just because it's the Sony Open, you don't want to burn anyone, doesn't mean you should be using Taylor Gooch.
Well, that's why I said Kuchar.
I understand that. I'm going to continue my point. Is that okay with you?
Your show, your points.
Sure, it's okay with you?
I
want to run it by you first.
We're good.
My point is that you really need to narrow your range of outcomes in terms of win probability and top 10 equity when it comes down to it. So finding the forgotten favorite, I don't think that Kuchar's going to win this week. I acknowledge that he probably has one of the 10 best odds to win this week. And if no one is going to use him, I think that makes him a very appealing one and done pick. You don't want to get too crazy. I think that Lonto could definitely win this week. Probably not going to use Lonto here. That's a bit I don't want to be taking the 100 to 1.
And
there's no need to do that.
Once upon a time, we did do this with a lone wolf. Yeah. And that doesn't really.
And as it turned out, that no one ever hit it, I think.
Yeah.
I hit it one week because I used Sergio, who was the second favorite in the tournament, and I was the only person of 1,000 people to use them.
Well, that's impressive. But
I'm saying you can get low ownership on big names if you just just listen to this show, listen to Gup, listen to Kenny, listen to Tambo, listen to Jazzraz, listen to Rick, listen to whoever you got to listen to. Pick the one guy that no one talks about, and you're probably going to do pretty well.
And to exactly what proves your point is even the contest wasn't underway last week. We're all like, I don't know, if we ran this contest, we'd probably pick Patrick Reed.
I was going to pick JT or Reed.
Yeah, I mean, yes, JT was the guy because he's the favorite at small field. It made sense. But if I didn't want to go there, I was taking Reed. And May Reed be a good play because kind of like people hate him. They don't want to play him. But I think every podcast said the exact same thing. And then Reed came out. You saw the ownership numbers on a guy like Reed.
Yeah, highest owned player on DraftKings for the week at over 30%.
And I think the correlation to some of the ownership, I know it's like a different game. You're not like trying to find the gem, but yeah, guys that are popular across the board will be the guys people punch.
And I think that I bet Justin Thomas to win the Masters. I might save him for the Masters.
On that note, yeah, I'm pretty happy I made those bets, and I'm happy to let the book hold my money till April because I ain't missing it. And I got 20-1.
He's down to 14.
And we said you literally said when we did the show, him and Rom could flip, or he'll just join Rom. But in a matter of weeks, if Rom doesn't perform like everyone is, pedestaled him, then he goes to 18 and 20, and Justin will perform and drop. Or what do you know? They both sit right there behind the Mount
Dustins
Rushmore,
and Tigers,
Rory and Brooks.
Yeah. Thomas is
a lot of bodies, man.
The reason that we ended up betting Thomas because he's on that level. He's just not considered on that level.
Well, and I could.
People think that he's closer to Hideki than he is to Brooks, which is just insane.
Well, we did the show, and you could be a fan of who you want to be a fan of, but we acknowledge the comedy of him and Jordan Spieth sharing, of him, Jordan Spieth, and Ricky Fowler sharing numbers. The comedy of an error, that is. And apparently last night, like the to win an anytime major this year,
it was 5-1.
We're still the same as people. It's embarrassing.
It's now down to 3.5.
Good, because they should have. That's not something I'll bet on. I'd rather pick them for the major. That's how I would rather do it.
Although generally those tend to be better bets.
Yes, fine, but that's just. I'd rather have. I don't know. I don't like 5-1. I like 20-1. And the being able to bravos that I called it. But it just still. And we said it in the previous shows. Embarrassing that he was still being put with that class because he's the super elite.
Well, hopefully he can win.
That would be fucking awesome.
Hopefully he doesn't hurt himself at the Honda again, wherever the hell. That
was.
It
might have.
I believe it was at the Honda. Tried to chip from behind a tree and hurt his wrist. And he sucked.
He was defending champ. He felt, giver.
All right, that'll do it. The Pat Mayo experience. Geoff Fienberg. Glad to have golf back. I had missed the golf sweats. I had the heart pounding with Patrick Reed. It was great. Although it didn't win, like it was nice to. There's nothing like it. If people don't bet on golf or like are coming to this show through osmosis of the MMA show or the NFL show or whatever it is that you watch and you're trying to get into golf, let the golf people tell you it's the best bet you can make and the most excitement that you can have.
And you'll never. I say this having just had a second place golfer, and don't get me wrong, you go through like a run of second places, I'll be a different person emotionally. But I never on this show can get to the same place as like the football stuff. Because everything is good times here.
Yeah.
For me. There's no like dark demons.
But also the money you need to wager is so much less, and the money you win is so much more when you win.
Yes. And to that point, all I would want to say to anybody is do what works for you. I'm not even talking about how much you bet, but like, don't let anyone say like how you do it is stupid. If it works for you, if it's proven that it works for you.
Even if it's not proven, I still bet the exact same way and I'm not winning.
Yes, you're right.
I'm still having fun betting. That's the whole point of this.
It's proven that like letting the book hold my money for months is stupid, but I'm going to have fun doing it. And it's like my version of playing a stock. Because I got the number I want and I'd have bet it anyway, maybe. I get it. We're doing it for fun. It doesn't even have to be proven. Do what works for you. If you have a strategy, if you like to play X, you like to do it your way. If it doesn't match up with how like someone on the internet should be done.
Did one person tell you they didn't like your betting strategy? They're like, everyone's out to get me.
No. I'm not even talking about me and my betting strategy. I know what I do works for me. I know at the end of the year, I got to hit X amount of winners. I'm in a great place. We've been doing this a few years. I feel like you've noticed I've been able to do what I need to do to stay in a great place. I'm just saying, in general, in all, like any of the betting, just do what works for you. Have fun. No one came at me with that. That was just my own thing. I will acknowledge when I am living my own truth, and that does happen and will happen. And I feel like we're still gonna, like in football season, I need to get yelled at like early in the season by you, and then I'll probably rein myself in. And we didn't like really get there today. Even though I missed,
we'll get there.
Yeah. Oh, I will get you there, and then it's gonna happen. So just stay tuned.
Well, it doesn't
probably before we leave California.
It doesn't happen on the football show because I just yell at Tim.
Yeah, yeah. But I've been better since you yelled at me on the football show.
Agreed. At Geoff Fienberg, GFienberg17 on the Twitter machine, on Instagram for me, at the PME, Facebook where my cheat sheet will live, on Twitter at the PME, Instagram at the PME as well. Subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast, Apple, Stitcher, wherever you do it. And if you leave a 5-star review on the audio podcast, DraftKings handle, and something you like about the show, you'll be in a draw for 100 DraftKings dollars. If you just want to get into a draw or additionally get into another draw for 20 DraftKings dollars, smash the like, leave your DraftKings handle, and tell me who your one and done pick is going to be for the 2020 Sony Open. And Fantasy National, this is the time to get back in. We got a full field. We got live strokes gain data. And if you use, or just go to the site, fantasynational.com/PME, get yourself 20% off. Go test it out, all right? I'm Pat Mayo. Good luck this week. I'll be back on Tuesday with Jeff Ulrich. Jeff will be back on Wednesday with me, him, and Cuss talking football. And I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!